Hi, my name is Antonia. I just turned 22 years old and I'm from Finland. For a longer period of time, I had wanted to do volunteer work at some sort of animal shelter. And when I finally decided to take that step and do research on different places, I found Takis and his shelter. I remember the morning of the flight. I spent hours being anxious and worried about how it was going to go. The thing that took away all of that fear was a picture on Facebook of a beautiful mama cat and her 3 kittens at Takis Shelter. And I thought to myself, I can't wait to spend time with these precious little ones. April was a stray cat living around the rubbish area. Before Takis could sterilize her, she became pregnant. Takis managed to catch her just before she gave birth. A few weeks later, after her kittens were born, April escaped her enclosure and abandoned them, at the exact moment that I arrived at the shelter.
That's the mommy that she escaped from the shelter. She wants her freedom.
And since the 3 little kittens no longer had a mother, I immediately stepped in and began hand-raising them on my very first day. I remember when I first got to hold them. They were so small and fragile. The first few nights together were pretty stressful, I'm not gonna lie. The babies were so young that I was afraid something would happen to them. I had quite a few sleepless nights with bottle feeding and potty time every few hours. But as the days went by, the kittens grew, got stronger and more playful, and I started getting calmer, and obviously, I started falling in love with these little babies. So after a few days, I decided it was time for them to get their very own names: Cleo, Figaro, and Pluto. At the end of my stay, the kittens had become extremely active and we never had a boring moment together. Especially when they started exploring the room and when they first started eating more solid foods. I was always having a laugh and they really filled my days with joy. And then, 2 weeks later, it was unfortunately time for me to leave. The last night with them was absolutely awful and I didn't want to sleep knowing I would have to leave them the next day. And I said a tearful goodbye. Then about 2 weeks after arriving back home in Finland and spending every day thinking about the kittens, I finally decided that I must contact Tolo regarding an adoption. I then found out that Figaro, the cat I originally was interested in, had someone wanting to adopt him, so I knew that I was meant to adopt Cleo and Pluto. So then I decided to take matter into my own hands and fly over myself to pick them up, and so I did. On August 7th, 2024, I was finally reunited with my sweet babies, and it felt like we hadn't been apart for a single day. It almost seemed like they had missed me just as much as I had missed them. They were comfortable and loving from the very first day, so it felt like they had always been there. And now it's been over a year since I brought them home, and I've already been back at the shelter for a second time, volunteering for 5 weeks. This time, I didn't bring home any more furry babies. Cleo and Pluto has brightened my days in this past year, and there hasn't been a single moment where I've regretted taking them home. They have brought so much joy, love, and laughter into my family's life, and I couldn't imagine being without them. And as adults, they are still best friends, and the love that they have for each other is absolutely beautiful. And I will make sure to spend the rest of their lives filling their bellies with tasty food, give them as many kisses as possible, and make sure that they enjoy their life with me and my family. Figaro was adopted to France, where he now lives happily together with another cat, and just knowing that fills me with joy.